Happy New Year, Jamaica! Today we turn a new page full of possibilities, hope for the future, and the many blessings that lie ahead. As we reflect on the past year, let us celebrate the closing of a chapter and the beginning of a new one. Let us enjoy the present and look forward to the future, where all our dreams and aspirations will now be accomplished. And on that note, I'm Theodore Henry, your host for this next half hour, geared to keep you informed. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back before you know it.
Gratitude invites us to appreciate the simple joys in life: a warm cup of coffee, a shared laugh, or a moment spent with loved ones. These small treasures remind us of what truly matters. Expressing gratitude doesn't just uplift others, it lifts us too. Even in tough times, gratitude helps us find perspective. It allows us to recognize the lessons learned and the strength gained. In challenges, we often discover the beauty of resilience. Let's embrace the power of gratitude. Let's celebrate the people, moments, and experiences that fill our lives with joy.
Thanks for staying with us. 2025 should be a year filled with gratitude. And over the past year, the government has continued the work to build peace, improve the road and traffic networks, and undertake transformational projects designed to create a positive outcome in the country's economic performance. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness will highlight these, as well as what's to come in his New Year's message. Next.
As we welcome 2025 with all the new opportunities and possibilities it promises, we give God thanks for sparing our lives to see yet another year, and we spare a thought for those who left us in 2024. 2024 tested our resilience, but it also revealed our strength. We faced challenges with courage and celebrated achievements with pride. Category 4 Hurricane Beryl badly damaged southern parishes. However, we staged the fastest and most comprehensive recovery from a weather event of that magnitude in Jamaica's history. Within weeks of the disaster, your government was able to conduct assessments rapidly and distribute recovery grants of significant amount. To date, just under 14,000 checks have been delivered to beneficiaries. There is no question that this administration has had to deal with some of the greatest crises and shocks to have impacted the country in the last 100 years. A pandemic, global inflation and supply chain crisis, climate change, generated crises and associated hurricanes, tropical storms, flooding, and drought. Any truthful observer must admit that we have handled these crises comparatively better than previous governments and on par, if not better, than governments of peer countries regionally and even globally. We can be certain that 2025 will bring its own set of multiple, frequent, intense, and overlapping crises and challenges as global temperatures continue to rise, wars continue to drag on, and the global order becomes more uncertain. Rest assured that your government is preparing, constantly improving, and learning from every challenge to develop smart, caring, and sustainable responses. Early this month, I will receive the Disaster Risk Management Review Report, which I commissioned after the passage of Hurricane Beryl. This will form the basis for a complete overhaul of the disaster preparedness and crisis management apparatus of government. The lesson we take away from the 2024 chapter in our journey is that we must be ready for the next external economic shock, geopolitical crises, pandemic, or natural disaster. We have had several significant achievements in the 2024 chapter. Notably, the strategy of long-term investments in equipment, personnel, intelligence, and leadership in our security forces is paying off handsomely. Serious crimes are down approximately 14%, and murders are down approximately 18%, the second consecutive year of reduction. Our economic performance continued to be strong. Unemployment declined to the lowest in our history. Inflation declined well within the targeted band of 4 to 6%. Interest rates have come down steadily. Our dollar has been trading stably over the past year, and our national debt to GDP ratio is set to fall below 70%. This is the lowest in over 30 years. Our infrastructure program for highway construction, water supply, broadband, parks, housing, hospitals, health centers, police stations, fire stations, and urban centers is incomparable to any other era in Jamaica's independent history. Our social safety net programs have been significantly increased in terms of resources, up to 30%, targeted to the most vulnerable. We have more than doubled the minimum wage, further increased the income tax threshold, executed the first ever reverse tax credit giveback, and we have increased the pay of public sector workers by over 200 billion Jamaican dollars. These achievements are phenomenal and uncontestable. However, we also hear and pay close attention to the feelings and realities of many Jamaicans who have suffered through the global spike in inflation over the last 3 years due to the COVID pandemic and the supply chain shock. Food, electricity, transportation, medication, and other basic amenities have become unaffordable for many. I hear your cry regarding the cost of living. Though the number of Jamaicans employed is at the highest it has ever been, the minimum wage has been increased and wages generally have increased. We understand that wages have been so low for so long that there is still pent-up pressure despite the efforts of the government to create the economic environment where more Jamaicans can have income and inflation is controlled. On the flip side, the economy has created more Jamaicans with income to effectively demand goods, such as cars and housing. The number of vehicles on our roads has almost doubled in the last 8 years to over 500,000. The housing market has not been so responsive to the increasing number of Jamaicans who are seeking housing solutions in the lower income to lower middle income segment of the housing market. I hear the cry of the hairdresser, the mechanic, the clerks, and factory supervisors who have been contributing to the NHD for years but cannot find a house for the mortgage for which they are qualified. And equally, I hear the cry of the motorists about the damage to their vehicles and the time in traffic due to poor road conditions. Now, it's not just the cost of living that has gone up, but the cost of doing business has also increased. And this is not only because of the impact of inflation. Much of the increased cost is the cost of government regulation, some imposed by international obligations, but much of it is caused by the inefficient and antiquated government bureaucracy. I hear the cry of the small business and medium-sized business owners who are struggling under the heavy weight of bureaucracy. Now, as we close the 2024 chapter, we will build on the successes we have achieved, but more importantly, we will take what we have learned and the challenges expressed by our people and write the next chapter in Jamaica's prosperity story, the 2025 chapter. This year, as I've already signaled, the government will pivot to a laser focus on growth. Growth is important to increase revenues and income, but more important, increasing output efficiently can reduce the cost of the output to you, the consumer. This is particularly true for agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture was tasked last year to develop a plan to boost agricultural production for the most consumed staples and protein in our local food basket. Our potatoes, red peas, onions, cabbage, carrots, tilapia, goat meat, and the like. This will be good for the farmers, you the consumers, and the country as a whole, as we could potentially save foreign exchange on the items we substitute with competitive local output. Your government will invest this year close to Jamaican $1 billion on capital infrastructure in storage facilities across Jamaica for our farmers. The Southern Plains Agricultural Development Program between Clarendon and St. Catherine will irrigate 1,400 acres of land, which will be commissioned this year. The Essex Valley Irrigation Scheme between Manchester and St. Elizabeth will bring on stream another 2,600 acres of land, and we will break ground for the Pedro Plains Irrigation Scheme, the largest irrigation program in Jamaica's history, to bring a further 6,000 acres of land into production, which will take water from the Black River to our most arable agricultural areas. We will also be supporting our farmers with a program of mechanization and technology integration. Growing and building resilience in the agricultural sector is an important strategy for our food security and limiting the impact of food inflation. I've already addressed the measures we will take to give consumers relief on the cost of electricity and water. We're also seeking to build partnerships with India, the largest pharmaceutical manufacturer in the world, to get access to critical medicines at affordable prices. In terms of mitigating the cost of transportation, we are expanding the number of JUTC buses to several urban centers across Jamaica. The latest urban center to benefit from this is Morant Bay. Commuters who can access the expanded service will pay the subsidized fare schedule. We are also working diligently to develop the rural school bus system, which will significantly cut the cost of transportation to rural households. I've heard the concerns of a number of Jamaicans regarding housing. The government has taken an innovative approach to support the housing market through policy directives, financing, and incentives. The NHD has been mandated to build 43,000 housing starts for Jamaicans by 2027. This is not a small undertaking, considering that the NHD has only constructed just over 120,000 units since its establishment in 1976. The NHD has 5,081 units currently under construction. Contracts have been awarded for 10,515 units, which are slated to come on stream this year, and a further 14,260 units are in procurement and negotiation. The vast majority of these units are targeted at low-income and lower to middle-income contributors. We hear your cry, and we are rapidly increasing our support in the housing market to encourage the construction of achievable and affordable housing. On Monday last, we began work on the first of over 600 community roads to be repaired under the $45 billion SPARK program. The REACH program and the additional $2 billion Critical Road Network Repair program has already begun and is having an impact across Jamaica. However, we acknowledge that while the resources allocated are the largest amounts ever granted for road repairs and maintenance, these amounts are still not enough to fix all the bad roads which have annoyed you for years. The truth is that for decades, even before I was born, we have not had an economy that generated the revenues to support a routine maintenance program that matched the engineered life of our roads. Essentially, governments have built roads without the budget to maintain them. This lack of investment in the maintenance of our roads is compounded by the increase in the usage of our roads by an almost doubling of the number of cars and heavy vehicles, and an increase in the intensity of weather events, rains and floodings affecting the wearing surface and sub-base of our roadways. A further consideration is that the administration of our roads is fragmented. This prevents proper management, planning, and budgeting for road maintenance. We intend to solve this problem. We have already started with a detailed documentation and assessment of all our roads, and this will give us a full picture of the magnitude of the challenge. As a first step, however, and starting with these allocations that have been made, the government will ensure that all our high-traffic main roads are in an acceptable state of repairs at all times. This year, we will be making several policy and legislative changes to streamline procurement, permitting, and approvals. Many of the obstacles faced by businesses and citizens doing business are old legacy requirements whose relevance have expired, but their continued existence has never been questioned. We must re-engineer our processes to ensure that they are fit for purpose, streamlined, responsive, and able to meet the needs of a modern, growing economy. Already, we are seeing the benefits of re-engineering our processes to include technology. With the full rollout of the NID system this year, pensioners will no longer be required to go through the time-consuming process of providing a proof of life certificate. Once you are registered with NIDS, the proof of life process will be simplified. This year is a pivotal chapter in a larger journey towards a Jamaica that is affordable for all, safe, efficient, productive, caring, and peaceful. I know you understand the importance of reducing debt, keeping the exchange rate stable by having strong reserves, and managing our fiscal affairs that the country avoids profligate spending. I want you to know that the government understands that you want your community roads fixed, water brought to your home, affordable prices for basic items, and progressive wages, peace, and security in your communities, and decent social services. There is a delicate balance which must be carefully managed, and my administration has demonstrated time and time again through crises and shocks and times of stability that we are the best government at managing the economy and delivering the needs of the people. As we embark on the next chapter in Jamaica's journey, I reaffirm my administration's unwavering commitment to continue serving the people of Jamaica. There is still much work to be done, and we know how to get it done well. May 2025 be a year of blessings for you and your family. May our nation be victorious in achieving a virtuous cycle of peace, productivity, and prosperity. God bless you, and God bless Jamaica, land we love. Happy New Year, Jamaica.
Embrace your rhythm and keep dancing through life. Don't lose your groove. Life challenges can slow you down, but remember to find your rhythm. Keep moving, keep grooving. Find your groove and never lose it.
We've already said it, but reminding you again, the new year is a perfect opportunity to usher in new beginnings. Reflecting on the lessons of the past, including the highs and the lows, while looking forward to what the future holds in all aspects of life, is the message from the Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Mark Golding.
My fellow Jamaicans, the final moments of 2024 have come and gone, and today we begin a new chapter, the dawn of a new year, brimming with the promise and opportunity to chart a better course for ourselves, our families, and our beloved Jamaica. The dawn of a new year is a call to embrace fresh beginnings, to reflect on the lessons of yesterday, and to step boldly into tomorrow with purpose and determination. As we step into 2025, we do so with hope in our hearts, even as we honestly and courageously acknowledge the challenges that we face as a nation. The past year has been one of mixed fortunes for our country. On the positive side, our athletes raised their performance in field events to a new level, bringing glory to Jamaica at the Paris Olympics and showing the world the breadth of our talent in athletics. On the other hand, we encountered the devastating Hurricane Beryl, which wreaked havoc in several parishes and caused major disruption to many lives, damaging homes, schools, farms, and infrastructure, and setting back the economy. We endured the ongoing man-made disaster of high levels of violent crime, robbing us of loved ones, putting communities in fear, stifling opportunities, and casting a long shadow over the progress of our people. Every life lost to violence is one too many, and every family torn apart by crime is another blot on our record as a nation. In 2025, we will face a year of intense political activity as the country moves towards general elections. The nation's leaders must set an example by word and deed that there is no place for violence and intimidation in our nation's political affairs. Our leaders must ensure that there is no repetition of the offensive and divisive rhetoric which sometimes soiled our national discourse in 2024. It offends the spirit of one love and violates the ideals of togetherness embraced in our nation's motto, out of many, one people. The police must conduct themselves with absolute professionalism. The nation is relying on you to reject partisanship in the conduct of your duty to serve and protect all Jamaicans. We will continue to consult and engage with the people, bringing forward our vision for a better Jamaica and championing causes that matter deeply to you, finding ways to cushion the crisis of the high cost of living from which the people are suffering, improving the systems of education and training for our children and youths to build a productive and globally competitive workforce at all levels, taking stronger action against corruption and holding accountable those who violate the public trust by scraping public resources for their private benefit, implementing more effective strategies for reducing violent crime, improving the experience and outcomes for people seeking health care in public hospitals where they are often treated in a way that does not befit their integrity, bringing down the price of electricity, which is a national imperative for driving economic growth, and making our bureaucracy more efficient so that Jamaica is an easy and welcoming place to invest and do business. For the remaining period that we are in opposition, which by all accounts will not be long, we continue to perform our national duty of vigilantly holding the government to account and defending the Constitution from any machinations which violate the principles of good governance or erode the rights of our people. On the matter of constitutional reform, our position is consistent and clear. When it comes to our head of state and our final court, Jamaica must move now to full decolonization and the establishment of full sovereignty for our people. Our people must be guaranteed access to justice, which the current arrangements for our final court fundamentally deny. We will not support a piecemeal approach to delinking from the UK monarchy. We will not support a mechanism for appointing the nation's president, which would allow the ruling party to install someone who does not enjoy the trust and confidence of all. We believe that mechanisms for more democratic, participatory, transparent, and accountable governance should be included in the reform measures, including the mechanism of impeachment, which has long been a point of bipartisan agreement and continues to enjoy strong support among the Jamaican people. And we would like to see mechanisms in place to enable our Jamaican diaspora, who are so integral to our people's welfare and our national fortunes, to participate more meaningfully in national development. As we commence this new year, I reaffirm our commitment to building a Jamaica that works for all Jamaicans, especially those who need the state to ensure equality of access to opportunities. In the year ahead, let us draw strength from our many achievements as a nation and resolve as Jamaicans to come together in unity of purpose, to overcome our remaining challenges. In 2025, which is the silver jubilee of the 21st century, let us all commit to being part of the solution, as each of us has an important role to play in building the greatness of our Jamaica. On behalf of my family, I wish you and your family, and indeed the whole Jamaican family, at home and abroad, a new year filled with love, hope, compassion, and progress in all our lives. May God bless you all, and may God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Attitude is something which productivity will require, and a good attitude. So these are conversations which are difficult. Because how do you instill a good attitude? It starts by the kinds of activities that you engage your children in at an early age. What are we teaching our children even in our own homes? How do they see us reacting to challenges? How do they hear us addressing issues? That's what's going to shape their attitude and their mindset.
I mostly specialize in lignum variety, but as you can see, it's a mixture of the seed and the lignum variety. So I'm from the Mighty Gully Youth Project. It's found by our teacher, Mr. Lancelot Bryan. He died in England a few years back. So what he always do, he always go around and all boys who on the street, homeless boys, and take them and bring them to the shop and teach us. And he always have place, if you're coming from far, you can stay over, and he teach us every little thing, cleanliness, how to cook, and everything. So we grow up in Old Harbour, so it's very close to the Mighty Gully. So from I was a youth, I was always going over there until I get to fall in love with it. And Mr. Bryan taught us how to carve and how to do business. And so what I do is not me alone. I take things that my friends made too. So I got work from my friends, Marlon Francisco and J. Van Johnson. We do the bus and we do tassa, we do abstract pieces, and we also do self-portrait. It's like a dream come true for me, because I always want to own a shop to try to do business different, because every time I do business and I go out there, I never feel satisfied with the business because I feel like I'm being underpaid. Now I'm at the Artisan Village. I feel much better and I like the environment. It's clean and nice.
And this is where we close the pages on this New Year's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Be sure to join us tomorrow on this same station for another program that's packaged just for you. Until then, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for this and all you need to know. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, wishing you and your family a Happy New Year and a prosperous 2025 from all of us here at the Jamaica Information Service. Keep safe and have a blessed holiday.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.